In professional sports, stardom can help you unlock access to a lifestyle most people can only dream of when they grow up. This lifestyle obviously comes with a lot of pleasures, but it also comes with a ton of responsibilities that the individual must be able to balance, or else things can go south quickly. The star players on NBA teams are looked at as leaders whether they want to embrace that role or not, and a leader is expected to be someone who commands respect not only by his peers and teammates, but by those around the league as well, and this brings us to the topic of today's video. Today we'll be discussing one specific player, being Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, and how he is on the verge of losing his locker room. Not only has his production on the court been dipping compared to what we know he's capable of, but his actions off the court and overall attitude, according to several credible reports, have also been worrying for Hawks fans, and in this video we'll be discussing all of it. Before we start though, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Aura. You may recognize Aura as a basketball fan because it is the jersey sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves with their logo patched onto their uniforms, and their service is absolutely essential to anyone who uses the internet on a regular basis. Aura is the best service to use to protect your data from hackers and spammers, so if you're not doing anything to protect yourself, you should probably sign up as soon as possible. The way it works is that it scans and monitors the dark web, looking for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers, and sends you fast alerts to your phone and email when they find anything suspicious. They also give you alerts on suspicious credit inquiries on things like if someone is trying to take a loan out or open a credit card in your name. On top of that, their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browser history and personal info safe and encrypted, and their antivirus software will block malware and spyware before it infects your devices. The reason why services like this is so important is because identity theft is getting incredibly common, with a new case happening every 14 seconds, which costs the average victim over $1,000. Protect yourself and your family from identity theft by going down to the description and signing up through the link provided, which is aura.com/hoops, and when you sign up using my link, you get a 2-week free trial to see for yourself how many times they can find your information on the dark web. You won't regret checking, so once again, thank you to Aura. The Atlanta Hawks were a lowly rebuilding team when Trae Young was first drafted, and the plan was to take things slow and develop a core that could compete for years in the future, but that timeline got sped up a ton due to how quickly Trae was able to emerge as one of the best and most productive point guards in the whole league. He was an all-star by his second season in the NBA, and by year 3, the front office accepted the fact that they needed to speed up their process by going out and acquiring win-now veterans to round out their roster, with players brought in such as Clint Capella, Danilo Gallinari, and Lou Williams, and in that third season, the team managed to make an unprecedented run all the way to the conference finals in the playoffs behind some stellar performances by Trae, which officially put him on the map as one of the best young talents in the game. After that season, though, things have gotten a bit rocky, and it all relates back to the little monologue I gave in the intro about leadership. After that 2021 conference finals run, the pressure to build upon that success rose, and loftier expectations were placed on this group. Being ahead of schedule means bigger results are now the expectation instead of being a pleasant surprise, and when you're the favorite instead of the underdog, you can lose that chip on your shoulder. Since that run, as most of you all know, the Hawks have taken a step backward instead of forward, and while I'm not trying to pin all of the blame for this on Trae Young like the topic of this video may insinuate, I do feel the need to point out a few problematic issues that stem from him. Winning can cover up a lot of underlying issues, which is a phrase I've said many times on this channel, and after that 2021 season, those underlying issues have become more prevalent because of the fact that the success on the court hasn't quite been at the same level. The big incident that sparked this discussion for me was when Trae Young missed the game against the Denver Nuggets a few weeks ago. Despite the fact that Trae was dealing with some shoulder soreness at the time, his reasoning for being out that game was not due to injury, and it also wasn't due to personal matters. The reasoning for him missing that game was because of the fact that he had a disagreement with Hawks coach Nate McMillan prior to the game, where Trae skipped shoot-around to focus on nursing that shoulder, and that absence presence was not authorized by McMillan. Coach then told him that he would not be playing that night if he skipped. He skipped anyway, thus the absence. Now, all of you listening to this right now may not think this is a very big deal, and if I'm being honest with you, this one specific thing isn't the reason for panic by any means. But when you look at the bigger picture surrounding something like this, you start to see smoke, and where there's smoke, there can oftentimes be fire. The real worry is the fact that someone inside of the Hawks locker room clearly leaked this story to the public because there's no other way that reporters would have found out about it. And if people within the Hawks are leaking information that makes the team's star player look bad, then it probably speaks to a larger underlying issue about the respect, or lack thereof, of Trae's teammates having for him, and it speaks even further to his ability to be a leader on a team that wants to win games. The Hawks barely snuck into the playoffs last year, and this year the team sits in 9th place in the standings after acquiring All-Star DeJounte Murray to team up with Young in the backcourt this summer. All the while, Trae Young's numbers look as impressive as ever on paper, scoring about 28 points and dishing out about 10 assists per game over the span of this season and last season. The way he goes about getting those numbers is what could be up for debate though. Recently, an NBA writer who works for Sports Illustrated and Forbes made a podcast appearance, and in it, he said that based on the people that he's spoken to around the league, nobody is really that fond of Trae Young. He said, and I quote, "Even external players outside of the Hawks are not interested in playing with him. There is basically this sense that Trae is what you call a, quote, selfish, unselfish passer. This is a big claim to make, but it's also not out of the question due to prior issues that have also flared up within the Hawks." Fellow Hawks teammate John Collins was another emerging star early in his tenure with the team, averaging nearly 22 points and 10 rebounds per game in the season right before the Hawks made that deep playoff run. He sacrificed his individual numbers and overall involvement for the betterment of the team because they were winning, but as I said earlier, winning is the best way to mask internal issues, and once that success stops, things tend to resurface. John Collins since then has been very vocal about his frustrations within his role on the team, the amount of touches he gets, and his overall involvement, and because of it, he has found his name in trade rumors for several years. He's even discussed all of these things very publicly on podcast appearances. So, to tie everything together, Trae Young is starting to act like he's above the team, his teammates are less than thrilled with the style of play that the team runs because Trae tends to command the ball a lot and only passes when the opportunity for an assist pops up, and Trae and his head coach are also struggling to see eye to eye. The Hawks are playing some pretty poor basketball lately, and Trae himself hasn't been doing himself many favors. The organization has committed to building around Young, but that task is proving to be difficult, and it will remain that way until something changes. Trae needs to demonstrate more trust in his teammates, and he needs to step up and be a leader because right now he's pushing more people away than he probably realizes, and this could end pretty poorly for everyone involved. Obviously, Trae has all the talent in the world, but talent alone doesn't accomplish success at the highest level. Everyone needs to be on the same page. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about this entire situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.